Dear Venerables, my friends, I'm sorry for the wrong statement, wrong announcement. I did it with the confusion with tomorrow's program and the today's program. So, if I am to correct it, now we are going to start question and answer session. And after having a cup of tea, you may please take seats. And we are about to start the session. I would like to invite Aruna to present the already written questions, and if the time permits, I would invite all the other participants also raise questions to the audience if there are any clarification necessary or questions are there. But anyway, we are going to start the session with written questions. Aruna, may please start the presentation.
Nissarana, with your permission, Bhante, we have received 2 written questions, both are long. So I'll start with the first one. Thero Saranai, Venerable Sir, during the sitting meditation, most of the time, I can concentrate on the main object. However, while focus on the object can be observed, that the mind is wandering. Sometimes I fail to focus on the main object, and after a few minutes or seconds can identify that I had lost the focus, but I can go back from the present mind or the movement to the earlier mind where I focus on the object. I can very clearly go back to that point while counting on the, concentrating on the wandering that I experienced. The wandering is mainly on the past. I would like to know what this state of mindfulness and seek your kind advice how to handle the wandering mind on the past. Thero Saranai.
Practically speaking, the writer of the question itself already handled the question, so nothing to explain how to handle, or it is happened in its natural course. That means, if I am to write this letter, I would say my primary object is sitting, or my primary object is in-breath and out-breath. While I am practicing in-breath and out-breath, my mind starts thinking about the past. And from the thinking mind, again, sometimes it comes back to the in-breath and out-breath. And when I come back, no much of a fuss, no much of a grumbling, I can be with the in-breath and out-breath. So that is what I gathered from what is written. So what I find mistake is telling the primary object without nominating the object. So this is confusing. And the second thing is early mind, past mind, that kind of words are there. We have to be a little sharp in the technically. To say from the wandering minds to in-breath and out-breath. From the in-breath and out-breath to the wandering to the past memories. This sharpness is very clear for the listener, and whatever may be what has happened is clear enough. It is natural. So we have to understand when we are practicing mindfulness, we appoint a primary object, but we never suppress any other coming objects. And main thing is not to worry and understanding if at all any wandering, maybe wandering not only happening due to the thinking, not to mention about the past, thinking can be many facets. It may be a sound, it may be a thought, whatever may be. Then after a while, if the mind is coming back to the primary object, that is something to be appreciated. Going out is something beyond your control, non-governable, but coming back is your past experience or trial and error. When you come back, the most important mentioning here made is, when come back again, I can fall freely, calm down on the primary object. I can re-establish the mindfulness. So even though object is changed, mindfulness is intact. This is natural nature of the mind from the Buddha's point of view. But the yogi never observe it, never bold enough to report it, and most of the time not appreciating. So therefore we are unwantedly worrying about the wandering mind, even though it is naturally come back to the primary object. Once you come back again, you can re-establish mindfulness. If that is the case, main thing is make use the opportunity to come back, return mind, and appreciate. Now it is again back on the primary object. Continue. So the technique or the theory behind is, more and more you recognize, more and more you reapply mind to the primary object, the wandering thoughts, daydreaming, fantasizing, thinking, pain will be slowly suppressed. Don't try to suppress them, instead try to reintroduce again and again into the primary object. So it is a very positive thing you are doing. And removal of the secondary object will be removed. For that I would like to introduce a technical term used in the Pali Canon is Patinissagga. Patinissagga is, you find in Anapanasati Sutta and many other there, and the commentators try to say Patinissagga means two aspects. One thing is plunging into your primary object, and the second idea is sacrificing and forget about the secondary objects. More and more you plunge into penetrate into, reintroduce into the primary object, so much so, thinking, fantasizing, daydreaming, wandering thoughts, sounds will be disappeared. So, but don't expect the beginner's mind to always be with the primary object. If it is there, it is well and good. If it is not there, when and where understanding the wandering mind, reintroduction. Again coming back to the primary object, and if it is coming back, appreciation of that very coming back is the positive thing. So in this letter it has been mentioned, it is coming back, when come back, again I can be with face to face with the primary object. So that's a kind of an endowment, that's a kind of a gift. You have to appreciate again and again, instead of worrying about the past life, past memories, appreciate returning to the primary object. This is in my terminology, I call come back home. Whenever mind come back to the primary object, you appreciate coming back. Later you may find the coming back is more happening under the light of mindfulness, more happening under the light of appreciation, more happening when in a hilarious way, even though it is going in a non-governable way, uncontrollable way, the return journey. That if we do not understand, you will end up in disappointments. The moment you understand and recognize, you will see that's a kind of a beauty of your past experience, your past investment of the mindfulness, and soon it come back completely crispy, completely refreshed. You can again be with the primary object. So that is how you see the mind never loses its energy, it never gets discharged. If you are appreciating the return journey, each and every time mind return to the primary object, it feel like recharged. So I recognize this as a rejuvenation of your mind, when and where it come back to the primary object. And if you know it's a really appreciable thing, it's a free gift, you will be refreshed, you will be rejuvenated, and forthcoming thought moments will be very crispy. You can have a longer time of continuation of mindfulness.
Venerable Bhante, the next question. I have followed your meditation courses since last year. I feel that walking meditation is the most effective for me. But when I do walking meditation after 2-3 months break, the same mindfulness does not come as it used to. But when I do walking meditation after 2-3 months back, the same mindfulness does not come as it used to be. I worry about the ants that I can see that I might kill on the walking pathway. I watch for them. Also, if I start walking on a certain path, I feel happy to see my footprints on the sand. I feel that I get attached to the sandy pathway. Honorable Bhante, please be kind enough to advise me regarding how to keep my mind on the walking meditation when you don't practice meditation for a while. Does mindfulness take time to attain? Thank you.
Simply, even if you are continue to do walking meditation without the break, even then your relationship with the mindfulness is changing. Mindfulness is something evolving you never see. Whenever you have a break, definitely you see it is very difficult to re-establish it, appear like again, you have to make the groundwork and kind of thing. And but my ordinary suggestion and radical reflection, even you are continue with the mindfulness, once in a way, if you have to reflect, mindfulness is changing. So whenever we introduce a new idea, new concept, new object, our mind is hold it as if it is permanent, as if it is auspicious, as if it is controllable. That is the way our mind is always try to grab hold, even the concept, even the mindfulness. So therefore, when and where you break 2-3 months, and again when you are going to introduce, you find very difficult to start with. And when and where you do, you never see the same thing but you have lost. But my kind suggestion is, even without a break, if you are going to do, you will see your taste, your quality of the mindfulness is ever changing. So therefore, please accept this changing nature. Please accept, please be prepared, open-minded to accept it. Mindfulness will never betray you. Often you feel it is not mindful again, being mindful and kind of thing. And wherever may be, you can be mindful even after a break, or maybe in the early situation with the past thinking for the split second, or due to the pain or thought. The Buddha, I feel, even though not mentioned in the formal language, this break is the point to see with your personality. After the break, how do you resume the work? That indicates how you are. If you are a person always is complain, if you are expecting a complete unhindered growth, that is because of your linear thinking. And that is our main culprit. That's why we are worrying always. So let the openness to happen. And don't repeat this 3 months of break. That is, I am not appreciating, but I am telling, even if it is happening, can't help. Appreciable thing is you restarted and you found the mindfulness in a different way, and see this even in the split second. That's what happened when the sound happens. That's what happened when the thought happens. That's what it happened, the pain happens. During that period, a gap. Even though it is 3 months or 3 seconds or 3 split seconds. And then your personality, your attitude, or your positive thinking measured whenever you reintroduce mindfulness. There, how much you are happy, how much you are using your own tactics, ways and means, and you find again no problem. You can start with mindfulness. Even though different quality and different shape and the different intensity, that each and every event is diversifying the mindfulness. Teaching and experiencing different facets of mindfulness. And of course, this is why what we are talking is not the mindfulness, It is a clear comprehension. When and where the object changes, when and where the posture changes, when and where the time changes, how different facets of mindfulness you can see under the perspective of so-called clear comprehension, sampajanya. So sampajanya is the wisdom part. Mindfulness is the physical part. They have to go hand in hand. So each and every mistake, each and every mishap is reshuffling and rejuvenation for your clear comprehension or sampajanya. So there you can see how wise you are. Do you know, or if you know how to adapt in a new situation and establish the mindfulness without much of complaint and do the best next, then you are wise. If you are making complaint, worrying, and disturbing, worry, the tension, that is what you call ignorance. That is what you call your lack of quick wit, lack of adaptability, or how to adapt into the situation. So that is at your hand. It is a task the Buddha has given. So you have to let it happen again and again, see how quickly I can reinstall mindfulness, and main thing is not to worry. Even after establishment, if you are worrying, I would say sorry. That's it. You are always a worrying person, no medicine for that. But if you know how to make you glad, that is, make a point to be glad under any circumstances, so recovering mindfulness is a clear silver cloud, silver line in your dark cloud. So that is, I put it as a clear comprehension. So let the clear comprehension happen. So you will be a person with the positive thinking, that is called in Pali, sakko. Sakko means hakisanya. That means always you develop, you trust your own ability and see how much you can establish the lost mindfulness. That ability, you work in terms of mindfulness, but it's a kind of a wisdom, kind of a knowledge you have. And beautiful thing is, we all have the equal knowledge, even though we are implementing or not. That is what the humanness. Each and every human has the equal knowledge to re-establish mindfulness if you are really employing it, if you are really mobilizing it. Whenever you get that mobilization, you are into the Aryan world. You know how to redo, you can do how to re-adapt and go back to the mindfulness. That is called, you are in a really disciplined person. If you are worrying, complaining, if you do not know ways and means, always asking someone, you make yourself inferior. You never trust upon your own ability. So much so, you are an infant and you don't know how to make use of your brain. So Buddha, right from the beginning, he knows each and every person has enough amount of ways and means if they know what to do. Meditation is that giving that perspective. So with that respect, the given information is very good, but I am trying to give a kind of a analysis or review of the same thing. So no one can help you. In that sense, you have to trust upon yourself. Trial and error is what you call Arya Pariyesana or noble quest. No punishment for that. You can do whatever you like, but you must have the aim. So let me give another perspective. Whenever you feel something wrong somewhere, 3 months I was not practiced, something wrong. So you must know what the next you do. Don't worry, practice. And when you are practicing, we have to focus. Then you are in the safe hands. But instead of worrying again and complaining yourself, thinking that this is the reason I was not practiced and that you are brooding upon your past mistakes that never appreciated in the sasana. Because this is not the sasana or message. Message is find the ways and means to adopt into the next thing and re-establish the mindfulness, and where you must know where to focus in walking meditation.
That's all where the written questions are. So if there are any others who want to raise questions, we can pass on the mic.
Or the question that we have handled, if I am not properly read the question, I would invite both of them. If there are any other further comments available or further clarification necessary, you all are invited.
My question first is the question that we can ask, is it only to do meditation, or can we ask practical question that is in daily life?
If I have my rights to find fault with you and kick you and push you away by asking wrong questions, then I will give the chance. So if you are making use the chance in a practical way, this thing is requested.
Okay. Yes. Over the last few years, I started to practice giving things. So, for example, before I didn't give any money to someone if they ask for money. Friends, yes, but if say someone is poor, I don't give money. I think, okay, this man, beggar, he can work hard, get this money. But then I meet teacher, he said, look, you make some money first. Yeah, okay, you want to give some first, so put it in saving 10% and then 10% give it away. Don't ask questions. Unconditional, just give. And give it for giving. And I started to practice this. And my life became really good. I began giving anything. Even if I had only 1 rupee or $1 at the time, I would give that dollar away. And the food, the clothes, whatever I needed to live kept coming to me. However, every moment of my life, I had to face the fear of security, not feeling secure. But it felt good, it felt like some practice, and I kept giving, and it took me on a journey, and I came actually to meditate with you. Now, I live here in Sri Lanka, and living as a lay person. There is the Buddha's words. Okay, you make some money. I heard 1/4 save it, 1/4 or something like that. Use it for your investments, and then 1/4 in daily activities, and then 1/4 to gift. Now, for me, to take on this advice is the difficult part because I'm used to giving all my money. And what do? For me, it feels like, am I going back, reverse, by doing that? But then, on another side, I'm bending. So, I find it difficult to put money in the bank and keep it. When someone is asking me, hey man, can you give me this money? I say, okay, here, go. What do?
That's one nice concept. It's called random action of kindness. So you can keep it open. Because there are some deprived people, they never ask. But it is called moral pain you can feel. They can't express. But if you are a generous person, you can go. It is kind of an intrusion, but even then you can give, and then you can really fit according to their demands are being supplied. It's called random action of kindness. That's a kind of a beauty in the people they do. They are not telling, I am generous, please come and request me. No. They are looking at the society and feel some people are really lacking, but they are not asking. So under such circumstances, if you can feel your consciences and you can go and play a trick, in a sense you give it by an accident like that, and then you can see how much they are hilariously benefited. So this is kind of a Samaritan or some kind of a benevolent action. Otherwise, you have to see reason. That means other person has to come and ask, but you have to reason it out. You have to see reason why that person is asking. Not by mere asking you are going to give, then you appear like a fool. Therefore, there should have a gravity for anyone asking. Or otherwise, you can make mind to give. In Burma, the government cut off the sponsorship to the temples. So therefore, people started, as a poor country, many people are earning with their labor, and they are giving 25% to the temples. So therefore now the relationship with the temple and the people are very organic. Even the government is not doing so. That is a kind of a mechanical thing. They earn about 25%, they put into the charity box. So that is also, I would say it's a good, but still mechanical. But I am telling it, it must be organic. You must justify what you are giving. It must be either either the invitation from others, asking someone. Second thing is random action of kindness. You must feel, this is the point I can do. It is not a pre-planned thing. You just give. And that is the way you can feel the other's mind. And you can understand, being human, when we go to unknown places and sometimes we feel insecure, we feel support, not only by money, many ways. And you understand, if someone is going to give a helping hand, how much it is a big solace at the moment. So you can be the other side of the game. And you can help it. So both of that, you have to have the moral pain. It's a healthy pain, you feel the other's heart. So that is what you call the sensitivity or sympathy. So otherwise giving, you appear like a fool. Because the world is very cheating. So therefore under that circumstance is going to give. Still I have seen some people, they are doing still with that without unconditional giving. So as a person I would say, my random action of kindness, I consider as my hobby. If someone is asking, I take little time to understand why you asking me, why this amount, why this place, this event, and then you have to justify. Then you give. That is called provoked by others. That is called sasankarika. Asankarika means it's a random action of compassion, and you feel at the moment, not premeditated, you feel like giving. So these are very rejuvenating things. It's a full of vipassana, it's a full of compassion, and the society, the distribution of wealth among the people happen through these doors. Otherwise, present-day society, it's a highly indiscriminate wealth. You can see 1% of the people, specifically in the rich countries, sharing 80% maybe of the wealth of the country. And they are not generous. About 90% of people sharing maybe 20%, 30% of the national income, and they are completely below the average level. They are striving and survival level, and it is ever increasing. The gap is increasing, but through the idea of generosity, dana, the Bodhisattva as well as the Buddha told that will distribute among the people, that is called multiplier effect. So whenever you are in a better position, you must think about, I also had some kind of a difficulties on the way up to this level, and I felt insecure socially, politically and monetarily, and so a lot of people are under such situation. How can I generously, randomly help them? And otherwise, people will just consider you as an easy way of getting money, and by giving money you may be misleading them or giving a wrong example. Because drug addicted people, alcoholic people, even by giving an increment in their salary or they earn, they don't know how to handle money. They misuse it. Under such circumstances, I don't see socially or religiously you are doing good thing just by giving money. So instead, if it is so, give some material, something like eatable, and less damages. You have to ask hungry, oh, you can go and hotel to ask them to eat and give money to the hotel, enough money you can eat, instead of giving money. So money, the day the human being earn money, it is the starting day of the frustration. Money is the main source of frustration and the tension, and therefore do it in a barter system. Give it in material, so you have to take little time. What you need, I will give the material. Then it is more organic, I would say. So I am just adding some new ideas into that. I don't consider this as a standard or universal answer. This is what I do practically in my life.
Thank you, one thing. To continue, what about the concept of saving? Now, the same Kalyana Mitra that guided me to come and meditate with you said, Puta, you better start saving a bit. Put 1/4 in your tank. Otherwise, he didn't say otherwise, but he gave that example of what the Buddha said. Now, then for me, the concept of saving, when I go far with it, it looks like, okay, I'm putting this in this institution, whatever. But then, more close to me is the fact that what am I saving for? A day in the future. So it's not here. And that feels like fear to me. I feel there's nothing to fear. And why save for tomorrow when I can do it now? On the other side of that is the idea of even, say, Maitri Bhavana. To say, may I be happy first. So my tank is full. If you're happy, you can share that happiness. So there's this duality, I suppose, like everything.
Yeah, both of them are at the ethical level. That means you as a layperson, if you are connected to a family or that kind of thing, social security, economical security, political security is a must for the integrity of your family. So as a layperson, the Buddha says 50% investment, 20% for eating, and 20%, 50% investment, 20%, 50% saving, 25% investment, 25% for eating. That's a healthy kind. But that is being now promoted by whom? The bankers. Do you think bankers are for your benefit? Do you think bankers are thinking your well-being? The whole world is run by banks, and they are going to give the interest. Do you know where the banks are investing money? Worst thing in the world. They are mercenaries. So therefore, the day the money earned, that is the frustration earned. The day the money came into the human being, that's the point the tension came. And you see, monkeys, animals, no tension, no frustration, because no money. No money. I am not telling to go back to the barter system and all the kind of thing. Use it, but don't be a slave to money. Just be a master to money. And therefore, the saving is, if you are living in a society or it's a social or ethical values. Metta Bhavana, also, the Buddha says, see the love spots in your life, only the positive side of the life, that is what you call Metta Bhavana. See reason to be glad under any circumstances, that is called Metta Bhavana. Because otherwise you can't endure this kind of a tough job, like be mindful as and when you are changing the posture and kind of thing, because it's exhausting. So therefore you must have rejuvenation or recuperation or recharging of your life with the metta. Therefore the Buddha says, Subha paramaham bhikkave metta cheto vimutting vadami ida panyasa puggalo uttaring appati vijjantasa. See only the love spots in the life, and up to the arahantship, you will see it is useful as far as the sasana is available. So see all the positive sides of the beings, positive sides of you, positive side of the climate, positive side of the politics, positive side of the food, and use it with the positive thinking without much worries. More and more you fill the mind with the positive thinking, your negativity can't live with. It will be depressed. It will be removed. But if you are worrying about the wrong things, you are fertilizing the wrong things. You are giving the nutriment of wrong things, will be end up with the full entanglement. So therefore you must have something positive before the arahantship. That means see the positive side of the people, positive side of myself, positive side of the climate. Then you are with the positive side, and don't be happy with that, try to be mindful. So therefore the Buddha mentioned 3 kinds of restrainment: ethical level, concentration level, and the wisdom level. The ethical level is a complete Buddhism. Buddha gave the complete set of principles, how to run a family, how to be parents, how to be children, how to be teachers, how to be students, everything given. That is to have the least friction in your social life. Don't make fuss. And if the fussy people forget about you, live with the positive thinking people and make use that reservation of time for the concentration. Not the ethical value, ethical restrainment as your final goal. It's a tool. And if it is not so, even if you can't get the ethical contentment, I would say you are not qualified for meditation. Then many people, those who are ethically imbalanced, are going to go meditation, and that is the easiest cut to the asylum. That is what happened in the meditation world now. But the ethical problem, ethical balance, ethical restrainment is a kind of a test. For that Buddha give inputs. But whenever ethical values go, okay, now you know how to tackle, how to run a family and live a world, and then only you can have little time of concentration. Otherwise your mind will be the workshop for devil. And when the concentration happen only, you can understand the wisdom. So therefore 3 trainings, and the wisdom training and ethical training is, sorry to say, contradictory. Very difficult. When you are looking from the Vipassana point of view, ethical things appear like childish. But if you are going for ethics to the concentration and wisdom, it's a gradual development. So that is how you evolve in this life. So the religious values, basically in the ethical value, or social level, Vipassana, mind you, it is utterly independent, individual. You can't apply in plurality in Vipassana. Vipassana here, now I am. But ethics, family, religious organization, temples, everything there, because that set is known Sila Sikha. And that make yourself a good citizen. How do you know how to handle in a society and how to behave like, and what is your role? You know, you never exceed your margins, and then you see kind of a space, time, and then you can apply to the concentration. And when the concentration gain only, you can understand Vipassana, and then you can see the Vipassana is somewhat contradicted to the social life. I would say moral restrainment that is being presented by Kierkegaard as existentialism. It is very early part of our life is we play with the playthings. We have no tension. We don't recognize sex. We play. And it's full of fun. But the moment the sexual attainment happens, we start raising children. And in front of the children, we can't live that play life. So we have to leave aside the play life and come to the good and the bad, ethical values. And very disheartenedly, you leave aside your playthings and live with the reality. And then you start the middle-aged, raising children. You try to run a role model. At the 60s, you find still you are utter frustrated. Even though you have children, even you have the job, even you have everything. And then you understand not only the playful life, not only the good and bad life, I have to understand the reality. And to understand the reality, you have to leave aside this family relationship. And hardly people can go into the reality, but the reality the Kierkegaard mentioned is not the reality Buddha mentioned, it is much higher. So even in a life, 3 stages, each and every appeal like contradictory. When you are going to understand the reality, you feel the contentment you get as a playing child, nothing to value. It is childish. But as a child, you know no tension, what a beautiful butterfly life. So one cannot live without the other. You can't live with, as far as you have to go to the other. When you are going to the other, this is being replaced by, this is we call evolution. So exactly the same thing in the Sila Siksha, Samadhi Siksha, Panya Siksha. So therefore in a discussion we can say, whenever we are going to talk with Vipassana, inside meditation, it appears like contradictory with the religious work. That is how the metta concept come into being. So therefore you have to read how the Buddha related and found the relationship between the ethical values or moral restrainment compared with the concentration restrainment, and how it evolved into the wisdom restrainment. So same person cannot do it. You are not the same person when you are evolving like that. And the best example given is, as far as you take the milk from the cow, you never call it curd, you never call it ghee, you never call it butter. And you call milk. When the milk change into the curd, you never call it milk. No more you can't. It is not cheese, it is not butter, it is not ghee. And when it's changed into the butter, you can't call it milk. You can't call it ghee, the curd. You see the same thing, when it is evolving, same content, it's different name. So likewise, the person who is doing moral concentration and the person who is doing wisdom concentration appear like contradictory, but you can see the evolution it takes place, and that is very difficult for the lenient mind to understand. Very difficult for the rational mind to understand. Very difficult for the inferential mind to understand, but bad enough in our school, we are training lenient mind. We are training inferential knowledge. So your radical reflection is paralyzed. You are no more human. You are a machine made by education and conditioning of the mind. So Buddha is asking, decondition and de-learn, and then again develop kind of a radical reflection. And that is like, in a discussion we are opening radical reflection. In a talk, we are going to lenient teaching. In a Dhamma talk. So you must understand how to accommodate them into one person, and the way you accommodate is not the completely the other person is accommodating. It's individually changing, so that is why we are in a varietal entertainment. Different, each and every person is different world. Evolution is happening. So instead of making contradictory and making disharmony, try to see this everything happening in the natural order. It's called this happening in the cause and effect relationship. And without your involvement, things are happening. It's a matter of you are adopting into that. You are understanding into that. So don't try to grumble with the world. Try to understand how can I fit into, fix into this kind of situation. Then you are ever changing. Very radical.
Sir, my question is actually linked to the question raised by him. In the course of the explanation, you mentioned about asankarika and sasankarika giving. Now, supposing I decide that I want to give on in the giving stages, and my question to you is, how do I apply mindfulness, to when I'm giving, to be mindful. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, I have caught myself. I have given, recently I gave somebody some gifts of money, and I gave 2/3 a gift, and 1/3 I said it's a loan. But when it came to the repaying time, I didn't get it back. There are excuses. But my feeling is that that person benefited. And when I gave if I'm not assuming too much, I think my asankara feeling was overwhelming to help the person. The person who was suffering from this kidney problems, a very, very difficult situation. But later I caught myself with a lot of afterthought and, being very grudgingly sort of thoughts. And I was thinking, now, I am very open with myself. To some extent, I thought I deluded myself in, you have been very magnanimous in giving, and people are around praising me, and I feel I don't deserve that credit because I'm now full of grudging thoughts and afterthoughts. But I'm trying to relate to meditation. I would like to observe myself and to see how much the grudging thoughts are losing its force actually, and whether I like to see whether I'm evolving. But just now, I'm not giving up my grudging thoughts.
So if I gathered, I would say Jesus Christ mentioned, when you give from the right hand side, don't let the left hand side know what you give. That is what you call giving. You are giving with the right hand, left hand do not know that's what you have done. So that is your mature giving. So otherwise you are rationalizing, considering and kind of, I don't see it is a gift, it's a giving, but that is the way you cut off the future repercussions. So therefore, when the maturity happens, you give, deal. No much consideration, weighing and which is asankarika, sasankarika, good or bad and all the kind of thing, that everything is defilements. I mean, you get involved, you get committed. So find a way, the thing happen, you feel like giving, that's it. So if it is so, the person who gave the opportunity is the real friend. It is not a created opportunity, it is not making you fool. You are not thinking again and again. That is the way the mother is giving milk to the child. Mother is very happy having a child because child have no other way, only the mother. So mother gives. So this is how the relationship. But the religious giving what we are doing, we are so much of considering this and that. So that kind of a thing is make our mind kind of irrational, and giving is earning and consuming is rational. Giving is something irrational. So therefore we practice it. It is something going against the grain. The maturity happen is whatever the generous thing you do, that's it. Therefore the Buddha says, if you are going to give and expect something, a phrase, fame or future gain kind of thing, it's called giving good but inferior. And the second part, Buddha says, from the Buddhist point of view, you give, never expect any material thing, expect the Nibbana or expect the peace of mind, accept the my contentment. So that is called giving with the Nibbana in perspective, as your aim. It's still medium. It is not the or the excellent type. With respect to that, what is the excellent is, you understand, the particular person given opportunity is the gift. So may he also attain the Nibbana. Or any person says sadhu sadhu, they also may attain the Nibbana, I also may attain the Nibbana. With that idea, if you can give even a glass of water, that giving is paramita. That means giving paramita kusal, that means it is universal. The person gives the opportunity also have a fair share. You are so thankful for him. And the person they are telling sadhu sadhu also thankful, you also thankful, that's finished. So very rarely we can do paramita level kusal because our personality is there, our conceit is there. So mindfulness is giving is understanding the egotistic nature while giving and understanding my conceit. Understanding, expecting this and that from the in a informal way, and this all happen, don't look down them. See red-handed. While giving, how do you justify it? Everyone is cheating. I mean, we have to wait for the lunch today. So we must not make such a big statement before they will not give them lunch also. So we have to wait and see how, as far as we are calculating, we are cheating. One day it will happen, mind you, you give. It is called you give, you don't know. Because you are engaged in the next moment, you are not worried about what is happening. So it's a kind of a beauty, it is kind of a aesthetic, it is kind of a song, it is kind of a music. That is called rational action of kindness. And if you are reading the Chicken Soup series in the books, there is a kind of a explanation given, 101 stories in the world. People take an opportunity and give an utter happiness because the other person use it in such a useful way and the particular person given do not know. A receiver do not know who gave. He play a trick in such a way, thing happen and he observe the other person using it, but no one knows it like God given. Oh, kind of a thing happened. So other person is phrasing, oh, my past merits, oh, my thank God, and all the kind of thing. But the God is a human. That is called random action of kindness. So this is not religious. This is not some kind of mindfulness. But when you are reading, you can see how the mindfulness gets a detached observation. And how can you see whenever you give something, whenever Rao going to happen, how your egotistic idea get more and more nourished, more and more fertilized, and your conceit and your hidden cravingness, when I'm giving next day I will give so much so, and this is how it happens. So this is a kind of a thing you can observe, but don't check it with others, then it's very dirty. When someone is giving, don't kind of say, you are going to give because of your conceit, because of your egotism. No, don't take that action. When you do, check your mind, and definitely out of 3 culprits, tanna, mana, ditti, you may catch one at least. The egotistic idea, or conceit, or the craving nature. So then the Buddha is very close. Okay, now we will mark the end of the question and answer session at 11:30, and we will be, but the next, I will be announcing wrong thing, just like the last one. What is the next event? 12:30, 1:30, walking meditation, and 2:30, no, 12:31, 12:30 to 1, walking meditation, 1 to 2, sitting meditation, 2 to 2:45 walking, and after a break, 3 to 4, it must be 3 to 4, Dhamma talk. So this for the future, the events. Thank you very much for the participation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.